What's up, guys? It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. So please, first, before you do anything, tap the like button. Because it freaking helps me, man. I'm trying to help you, you help me, man. It takes like one, just tap that shit. Subscribe. It just helps me. It helps you, because I can do more stuff if I can stay on YouTube. Okay, so, real quick. Today we got an interesting one for you for the KLR 650. This is a 2017 model, but I'm not sure about other years. I do know there's a range that this works for. I think it's like a 10-year range. This kit right here with the washers, the bolts, and the risers will be in the link in the description below. Please use my link to purchase. I'm an Amazon affiliate. It helps me out. Maybe it's only a few cents, but multiplied by a lot of people, it helps out a lot. If you have other stuff to buy at that time, I get a percentage of that too, so I really appreciate you guys if you do that. Just throw it all in your cart and check out at the same time if it's other KLR products or anything. So first of all, the reason that you would use a riser is going to be because of the riding position. If you're riding a KLR, you probably know it's not the most comfortable bike in the world, okay? But it's a workhorse and it works great. But there are things that you can do, like an upgraded seat, which I'll have a video about that in the future as soon as I get mine in, installation and stuff. But you can also do handlebar risers. Now, the one thing that you got to be careful with is, will your bike accommodate handlebar risers without like extensions of the throttle cable, without extensions of the brake levers, the brake lines, without extensions of any electronics that you have in there and stuff like that. So according to this link, this is going to be, is it true or is it not true video, that these risers, they're just shy of a whole inch. I think it's like 7/8 of an inch. You see that? It looks like about an inch rise though. What the idea is they say that you don't have to have any extensions, and people in the reviews were also saying the same thing. The whole concept behind making the KLR 650 more comfortable on your back and butt, because these risers bring your handlebars up just slightly. So if you look at me, if I'm standing straight up, no problem. If I am constantly standing like this, riding like this, it's going to continue to wear on my back. But if I can go from this position to this position, it puts my spine in a more optimal position to be lined up to ride for long periods of time. So if you're a KLR rider, you probably know. I think the kit's like 20 bucks, 19 bucks or something like that. There's a couple other ones. Use my link, but make sure it fits your bike. I hope this information helps you. These little guys right here, this little plastic piece is going to be pretty important. They go in these little holes right here, right where the handlebars bolt in, and I'll show you a close-up in just a second. But don't lose them, because the whole idea is it stops that hole from getting rusted out and stuff like that. So these are nice, because if you do a lot of outdoor riding and stuff like that, it'll get wet and rusted, and then the bolts will get stuck in there. The kit does not come with an Allen wrench, but it's just a basic Allen wrench. I don't think I have the number on here. Maybe I do, hold on. Yep, there it is. What is it? I'm trying to read it, sorry. It looks like it is 6mm Allen wrench. Is that right? I think that's right. Hold on. Yeah, looks like a 6mm Allen wrench. It should be all you need for this, okay? So, I'm gonna show you a close-up, and we're gonna go ahead and get those taken off. Let's do it. Okay, so first thing, you see these are the little dust caps, dust covers, whatever you wanna call them. You can use a flathead screwdriver, but they come out pretty easily depending on how long they've been sitting there. I wouldn't use a screwdriver, because you're probably just gonna mess them up on the way out. If they don't happen to come out, maybe you can use like a razor blade. But flathead screwdriver, I think, might be a little too aggressive, because they just barely sit in there. And they come out pretty damn easily, actually. So then we're going to take our Allen key, and we're going to start loosening it up. One thing, actually, I'm going to measure the distance from the ground to the top so I could see what it changes. I'm actually going to do one more reference point. Hopefully you can see at the front of the handlebars right here. If you can see right there, there's a crease in the actual riser or the handlebar lock, whatever you want to call it, where the Allen bolts go to. Where there's a crease there, I'm going to just cut just the tiniest little line so that I know exactly where to line that back up with, if that makes sense, hopefully. And I'll show you in just a second. So, I'm going to take you off there really quick, and hopefully you can see. Let me see if I could turn my camera around, show you the best possible angle. Yeah, there you go. See it right there? So I know when the handlebars are back on, they just need to line up right there. That looks good to me. Okay, so the bolts that actually come out of here are going to be roughly 1.25 inches, looks like. And the bolts that it comes with are going to be substantially longer at probably about double that, maybe almost double that, about 2 inches. So the concept here of what we're doing is this little guy is the riser itself, okay? We can put it pretty much any way we want or whatever. So what it's going to do is going to set in that bottom half, and then the handlebars are going to come right back on top, just like they normally would. All you're doing is putting a little bit of a spacer in there. Okay, trying to get a little bit better view for you guys. This is the handlebars. You are in the front of the bike. This is the headlight area. Okay, so I have the risers completely off. Not the risers, the clamps. The clamps that go here, just to see what they look like, okay? Now, I don't know if it matters or not, but I'm gonna put the logo facing out. So all I'm gonna do is basically put this riser under the current handlebar. We're gonna take that off. And we are going to kind of pull on everything, not crazy pulls, but just kind of get it up a little bit looser in there. All right, that's the first one. Looks like right here. And then we got the other one. Okay, so I want to try to show you this next part, or at least show you how it goes, to give you a heads up. These little washers right here that come with it are going to go between the riser and the actual mount. So obviously I don't have the top part on there. Be very careful not to lose these things. I don't have the top mount on right now, but this face down like this is how they go with those risers, those little spacers in between. They're not actually like washers, they're kind of like just little metal shims. And the reason is, from what it looks like, I haven't read any instructions, of course I'm a guy, right? It shimmies back and forth. But if you put those spacers in there, it eliminates that. So let's get that put on. Okay, so I got one side on. You can see that one side is on and the other side is just hanging still. I will say though, the one thing that kind of weirds me out is it's a little bit of a different shape here. But honestly, I don't think that's gonna affect it. Getting those little washer type things in under there is a little bit of a trick. I did the top one first. I just held it here while dropping in the bolt and just finagled it and took my time and went really slow. And then the bottom one was a little bit harder. I just had to get really far down there, like face up to it, just to see what was going on, and took it slow, but it did go in. So now I'm gonna do the other side. And it's actually looking like the handlebars sit up quite a bit actually, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so just to kind of show you, I got the left side on, top bolt, and now I'm going to do the bottom bolt. Like anything, like putting on a car tire, like bolting a piece of equipment together or anything like that, you never want to tighten everything as you go. Just keep it finger tight. So I got the one in the right hand, the bolt in the other hand. And I'm gonna go slow. I'm only gonna put it about 3/4 of the way in, and then I'm gonna lift up on the handlebars, and you gotta kind of feather it in to see where it's gonna end up. Looks like I got it, which is kind of funny. There, you would think the concept's actually really difficult, but believe it or not, it's actually, everything lines up really, really well. So it's a good little company that did this. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my 6mm Allen key, and it may be a different size for you. Funny thing is, when I bought this bike, he pretended like it was a 2018. So kind of funny. Opposites in opposite corners. I'm not going to crank it down all the way yet because the handlebars are not where I'm going to want them. I just want it to sit a little bit more still. So I can kind of pull on the handlebars and get them where I want them and stuff, and see how they do. Funny thing is, the bottom right hand one wasn't done. On these little top attachments, they will have an arrow facing towards the front of the vehicle. So that's kind of cool, a little bit helpful there. So I'm gonna bang the handlebars to the side because they're not exactly where I want them, left to right. Now that looks good. Now remember, I put that little, remember that little mark I put here? I did that so I can see kind of where everything's gonna go. My little meter here looks like, by the way, that's like a USB and a little battery meter or whatever. So kind of cool. I can link that below too, if you guys want to see that. But for the most part, it looks like this stuff, the wires, you can just kind of pull on them. They do have a little bit of slack, not a lot, but some. You just kind of do it little by little. And remember, I'm using my handlebar as a reference point of where I wanted everything to be. If you remember in the beginning, meaning this little, let me change the angle so you can see. The little thing here, but just the little plastic piece, was just ever so slightly pointed forward, just a tiny bit, if that makes sense. So kind of cool. You know what I didn't notice before is not only does it bring the handlebars up, it brings them back, which is kind of neat. And it doesn't really get in the way of my little meter here. So that's kind of cool. Now I'm gonna go ahead, and it looks like everything's lined up where I want them. I'm gonna leave them a little bit higher than they were, a little bit in a different position. I kind of feel like that's kind of cool right there. Maybe a little bit further up. But I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them up and see what happens. See how it goes. Okay, so I'm actually gonna ride around the block. This is literally like 5 seconds after I got on the bike, and I can already tell the handlebars are a lot closer to me, like a lot closer. And I guess what the feeling I feel right away is instead of being here, I'm here. So a good more inch upright, I suppose. So let's go try it out. Sorry about the noise. Just gonna ride. I actually have a flat tire, so I can't go very far.
me like a jackass. And then sat in this car for like an extended period of time. Yeah, you feel dumb, don't you? In all honesty, I'm not even bullshitting. I think it's going to take a little bit to get used to the handlebars being a little bit close to me. But it actually feels a lot smarter position. Just like, I just feel more, I don't know, balanced or something. That's pretty cool. To be honest, for 20 bucks, I'm excited. I'm going to keep an eye on it, make sure all the bolts stay tightened, and maybe go through and tighten them up again. But the little dust caps fit back perfect. So I'm pretty excited. If you guys liked the video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm definitely sitting more upright. Before it was not like a crotch rocket, not that bad, but it was definitely a slight lean. Now it's straight up position. That's pretty cool. So I'm excited. Try it out.